All right, the first of approximately like 15 to 20 sessions is behind me. I spent the first 4 hours and 17 minutes just for scaffolding, just for planning, just for creating architectural documents. And this will now be the initial context for the AI to actually start to work. Let me quickly document of what I've done so far. And I also have the full 4 hour 17 minutes video here, but due to my super slow internet connections, I will need to find a slot where I can upload this, and I also have to edit it a bit before I upload. So just to make sure that there are no credentials or anything visible during those 4 hours, at least have a quick glance. Anyways, so what I've done right now is mainly I've worked on this folder on the AI docs. So I had a lot of brainstorming with different AI tools. I deliberately switched between Gemini, Claude, and even OpenAI, ChatGPT for this initial phase, for this brainstorming back and forth. And also I started to configure Claude with hooks and agents configurations, and oh, here's already a planning thing which was committed. Nice. And it created me a README and all this. So now, as you can see, I will not read this field completely. So I have a nice little README. So we are in early development phase. This is currently in architecture and planning stage. And this is what the project is going to do: capturing project opportunities, analyzing using AI, and track it through an intuitive Kanban style workflow. Super simple description. I'm very pleased with this. Key features: smart organization, duplicate, complete audit trail, modern interface, architecture, reactive, message-driven microservice architecture, event sourcing, CQRS, event source, asynchronous method, Docker containerization, technology stack. Getting started, obviously not much to do because, well, there is nothing here. But this is going to become, there will be much more code, much more than zero, tomorrow, probably. And this is a little description. So you can read this yourselves, but the main thing I worked on was the AI docs here. And with the AI docs, I created iteratively, I created these 3 specs here. So we have a project description, we have a high-level architecture, and we have a high-level roadmap file. And this is kind of like the source where we break out now our implementation plans, our iterations. And I will show you this in a second. And I actually started with the scratchy thing here. So the first thing I really did was just, and this is also in German, because if I'm doing these long-term dictations through my microphone, then I actually can think a bit clearer in my native tongue. So this is German. But after this, I completely switched to English because this is the only super long form. So this is just a mental download. I just talked and described of everything I had in mind, and I had my little architecture diagram and everything I did. So I used this one. Then I already created this little kickoff YouTube, and thought it would be a nice idea to just push in the transcript of this one. And then I have my design diagram, which I just scribbled yesterday, and my little wireframey thing with the inbox, backlog, and active things. And this was basically the main input for the LLM to come up with the very first draft of our project description. This is like this one here. We have a project vision, functional requirements, user interface and workflow, non-functional requirements, infrastructure authentication, blah, blah, blah. I use this so I created this, I think, with Gemini, and then I uploaded it again to OpenAI and used O3 to criticize everything, so inconsistencies inside these this files, and things that were missing from a production grade point of view. So it had some good criticism. So I iterated and updated this document. When this was done, I kind of extracted some form of high-level architecture. So we have these layers, we have the RabbitMQ, Postgres, Docker Compose, secrets management, using Docker secrets, and I will be using Aspire, if you know this, for the .NET stack to have my runtime, my development environment. So basically everything I put into my description was then kind of refined to an architecture. And from this, we created also iteratively, you see it's version 1.2, the implementation roadmap. So we have guiding principles, quality first, foundation up, agile vertical slices, outside in development, starting with a prototype of the UI, and then developing, replacing the mocks during a development. So this is AI driven, human guided. So we will generate all code using AI. This is a tidbit that might be interesting for the AI to really keep in their context windows, because when they generate code and they generate instructions, it's a difference if they address an AI or if they address a human. So then we basically came up with these phases. Phase 0, which we are doing right now, foundation and scaffolding. So setting everything up, CI/CD pipelines, quality gates, developer tooling, everything. And the definition of done is that I want the CI/CD pipeline to run the unit tests, to run the quality gates. Everything should be configured. The main branch, which is not protected yet, should be protected. Only PRs are possible. I want to start this locally with .NET Aspire, and I want to start it on the in a regular setup with Docker Compose up. And again, the CI/CD pipeline should be running. So this is our phase 0. With this, we will be starting. The next phase is the UI UX prototyping. We will going for V0, and we create a React-based Next.js application, which should be functional with mock data in the background. So just to get a feeling of the UI, and so that we can derive the commands we need, the backend to handle them, and the views we need to generate, and the data which must come in. So creating a prototype. Then this is kind of a deviation, because we are actually creating infrastructure which is not directly related to the tool. So this is actually something a bit strange within this project. But I want to create my custom event store for myself, for the reason outlines in the kickoff. And but there is a certain risk when doing this. So I might run into issues with consistency or integrity or scalability. So I do not see any issues which are coming up, but maybe. So I'm doing kind of a spike-like thing, time box for 3 dev days, and I have some criteria defined. So I want to do some kind of benchmarking that this will actually be able to handle this workload I have in mind. And if the spike is running, then we will iterate on this and create the implementation. And once this is done, so the prototype and the core persistence technology is running, then we will go to the phase 3, which is the first end-to-end display slice. So I try to do vertical slices and create UI and command handling and query handling and data all in one go. So we will create first end-to-end display slice. Since we do not have the ingestion pipeline, we need to kind of mock the data, which I imagine will come out of the ingestion pipeline later. So we were creating basically a temporary internal API endpoint where we can post pre-processed opportunities, and then we can use these opportunities, which are persisted inside the event store, to flash out our user interface. So this is definition of done. Then we will be expanding the interactive workflow. So we'll start to work on the user interface with editing, with prioritization, all this drag and droppy things, and pipeline management, and closing the opportunities. And once this is done, or across the complete life cycle, we will switch to the ingestion pipeline. We will create data extraction things, we will create deduplication and caching and whatnot, and the AI rating justification parts. And once this is done, the pipeline should create opportunities automatically. The UI is already done. So basically, this will be the end of this part of the project. After phase 5, which is the end of my 28-day streak, there might be a opportunity to actually enhance on this. So especially the CRM part of things. So we can actually support the user with managing their project opportunities by condensing the data. So we can extract companies, we can extract people from the agencies, from the customer themselves. So we have a communication overview log. We can attach the mailboxes of the user, so we can have all the communication in one place. Add notes, add to-dos, and whatnot. So the CRM part would be a project in its own right, which can be put on top of this little pipeline here. So some things we discovered during our investigation and we will be not implementing right now is GDPR compliant deletion. So this is one of the few drawbacks of the event sourcing approach. The event log is immutable, so it is not trivial to just remove events in the past, that remove, for example, all information about a given customer, because you have to kind of traverse the whole event log and make sure that you do not create inconsistencies by deleting messages. So anonymization might be a better approach for this. I also have not yet decided if we add an ELK, so Elasticsearch and Kibana, and probably Logstash stack into our infrastructure for diagnostics, for reading the log files. For now, we will doing open telemetry, but potentially we might add this. Also, the deduplication algorithm right now can be enhanced. So potentially I will investigate and do a bit of more sophisticated deduplication, because this will be a core feature of the pipeline. If we add crawlers and the crawlers identify the same project from different portals, for example, or something else, then the deduplication of these projects will be one of the major features, and a true deduplication. It really needs to identify duplicates here. And container image hardening, for example, is also not part of our pipeline. So we have the classical dependency checks. So we have some tooling in here to monitor security issues within our base containers and our own containers and our dependencies. So this will be part of the project, but a specific image hardening is not part yet. So this will be our high-level roadmap. And now, after having created these initial things, I added my my regular claude commands. Let me see, it's here. So I added this an additional phase. So this is how I started to work with Claude Code for like 3 months approximately. So I iterate as follows. We have this plan, we have this roadmap. So the first thing is we will plan out a next phase. And this is the instruction. This is a slash command. I can use this as slash. And this instructs Claude to do as follows. Read the 3 documents I just showed you. Read the implementation history where everything is logged, every decision we made, every change we made, and everything we have already implemented. And from this, we want to plan the next implementation phase. So the bot sees what was implemented. The bot sees our high-level roadmap, what we want to implement. And from this, it can actually plan a next phase to implement. So our 5 phases basically. And then it checks if we have a next implementation phase AMD already. If yes, it's the old one, delete it. If not, please use the documents you just read to create a new file plan next implementation phase. Create a step-by-step plan on how to implement the phase. These steps should still be high level, so not detailed plan. The format should be as follows. So this is Markdown, implementation plan phase for blah, 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 iteration 1, iteration 2, and so on. So what the bot will do is to create within our plan, with the information plan implementation history, where is it? Implementation plan. I did not create this yet, did I? Commands plan. AI docs here, implementation plan. It will basically, this is the current history. It's simple, it's easy, it's empty. And here we create a new doc for the next phase. So once we have this document with our step-by-step iterations, then I will use the plan next phase prompt here, which will basically read everything again. So I always start with a new fresh context window. So to not confuse the bot with stale information. Then it reads the current implementation phase and it checks against the history of what we need to do next. And then it takes the next iteration of the iterations we just planned. And now it creates another plan, a step-by-step plan on how to implement this phase. This should still be high level and will be refined format. Format should be as follows. And this will be, did I not mention where to create it? Oh, okay. So I just saw a bug. I also need to tell it where this next plan should be put. I need to add this here. But then we have a finely fleshed out plan. And then we can actually go to the execute step. So these are the 3 steps I always do. I do the plan, I review the plan if everything is in there, what I thought the context need to be. And this one is the main prompt, which will make sure that everything is implemented. And this is the next step.md, which was just generated. So again, we're starting with a fresh context window. We are putting in all our main documents. We are pointing it to the next step plan, and we stop if this file is missing. Then we make sure that we are on the main branch. We fetch all changes. We create a new branch for the iteration called feature, derive a good branch name. And then we implement the full iteration according to this one in one go. Do not add anything else. Wait for user review. This is something the bot always wants to do at the end. It wants to update the history and update the next steps. So I explicitly told him to not update anything, wait for a user review. And once this is done, I can do my manual review of all the code changes. So it will implement the whole plan for the next steps. So the next iteration we just defined. And I can do the review. And as I already mentioned in the kickoff, my workflow is as follows. I will never prompt Claude or any other AI tool to iterate on what it's done already. Either there are really minor changes where I see I want to change a little bit of code, as I do manually at this point, or I completely revert the whole thing and start by prompting plan next phase again. So I reset everything. I delete the branch basically, and we will start the whole phase again. And here I might prompt it differently. So I might give it a bit more in the for example, in the iteration. If it went in the wrong direction, I might give it a bit more of information. When it came up with a plan, so the next steps, I might also have a look at it where it went wrong the last time and give it a few more hints. Then I start the execution step, then I do the review, and I do this as long as necessary until this iteration is completely automated. So I will never, ever tell Claude, this is almost right, just please correct this or create these tests or whatnot, if the unit test coverage is not what I was looking for, then I will just reset everything and let it create a new with new emphasis on what I thought was going wrong. So once I am done, as I said, what I will do is I will, for my taste, I will do some minor refactorings potentially at this point. Then the code changes are ready to be committed. Then you have the finalize thing. Again, we're starting from a brand new context window, reading everything again, read the next step. Then we find all uncommitted code changes using Git. We review the Git and make sure that the changes logically implement what was planned here and outlined in this. And then we run again. This should already be run, but we run all unit tests again to show that it pass. And then we update the implementation history. And then we commit and push all changes to the current branch using multi-line commit meshes, blah, 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 blah. And only if successful, then we, this is and push exactly. We should also, I see, we should also create a pull request at this point. Then we check out the main branch and fetch all changes so that we make sure that we are on the main branch before continuing anything. And this is basically the workflow. So we have the main high-level roadmap. We will use the plan next step prompt to break out the next logical phase and plan this down into iterations. And then we have this inner loop, plan, execute, finalize, plan, execute, finalize, plan, execute, finalize. We will do this until all iterations of this phase are implemented. Then we continue with the plan next phase thing and rinse and repeat until we are at the end of our high-level roadmap. So now, since this video already got long again, last thing, I started to set up some agents. This is a brand new feature which was coming out yesterday or today, no, yesterday, to Claude Code. So it's the latest Claude Code version. And I created 4 agents for me. So we'll test if this is working. And these agents are basically roles and are a fancy way to create a specific system prompt for the different roles that the AI is taking. What's interesting is that each of them, they have their own context window. So by using multiple agents, we can keep our main context window potentially cleaner. This it saves some tokens, and B, it might enable the bot to stay on track without becoming confused as soon as if you're just using one thread conversation. So I created these 4. So we have our implementation planner. Okay, this is some whatever, but this is basically the prompt it created. So you're an expert business analyst and software architect with deep expertise in translating business requirements and external implementation plan. You excel at breaking down complex processes in manageable phases, blah, blah, blah. So this implementation planner, this system prompt will be used whenever we plan something. So hopefully when we use the plan next phase and plan next step, and also when comparing if the plan was successful, this system prompt will automatically be used and will be color coded, so we can see this in Claude Code. So never used it, this brand new feature. Then for the implementation, I have 2 different implementation agents. So we have the reactive backend engineer here. Use this agent when you need expert guidance on .NET backend development, particular blah blah blah. This is the selection for the AI. This is our little description. This is our system prompt. So this use mediators, nice. So this didn't even see it. RxNet mediator, test-driven developments. He's loving functional solutions, eliminate side effects. So this is I prompted a lot of things and it created this one. And this hopefully steers our backend coding agent in a direction I personally like. And so I have fewer things to complain about. Then we have our Blazor front-end architect. who is basically a front-end expert with a specialty in .NET Blazor front-ends, and he can actually transfer React applications into seemingly identical Blazor front-ends. So we'll see how he can pull this one off. And then we have a code quality verifier. This is basically a QA agent, an elite QA expert specializing in comprehensive code quality verifications, which will take a look on performance, on security, on error handling, code clarity, and whatnot. So this will basically be the agent which will do the reviews for us, and which will give feedback on whether we can commit these tools. This is only the initial setup. I have more ideas on what we can do with agents and how to enhance this workflow, but this needs to wait a bit. So last step, I started to use hooks, but they do not work at the moment because I'm not sure. All my LLMs told me that I do not need to have settings local JSON with these where these hooks are configured. But that there is by convention, I can put these into the hooks folder and give them a name which is exactly as the hook is to be called, and this works out of the box, but it doesn't see these hooks. So what I want to do, this is just a test for now, is on stop, I want to extract token usage and from the final transcript and log it so that we can have a kind of development over time on how expensive or how many tokens this was using. When the sub agent stops, so basically when the task stops, then I want to copy the whole transcripts into an archive directory. So the transcripts are already in the Claude sessions file, but I want to kind of copy them to a transcript archive file and potentially even put them into a folder within the repository. So this will contain the complete conversations, basically without thinking tokens, because this is Claude doesn't do this, but we can basically trace back everything that was discussed between me and the agents. It's not so interesting in this case because I reject talking to the agent. I will use my / commands mainly, but we can see basically the main thinking process, but unfortunately Claude does not log and output every thinking token at this point. So, but it gives us a limited insight. Then we have wait for user, which just plays a sound. Ta-da! This is for me when I wait for Claude that I have something on my headsets. So this is basically the first iteration. Again, this was more than 4 hours to mainly create the AI docs. So the final things look not that impressive, but the iteration was very useful for me. So I really iterated and tried to make especially O3 challenge me, and I had to edit something out and in, and I think getting the baseline right is super important in order to create velocity now during implementation. Righty right, this is basically the current state of things. Now it's 9:30. Family is waiting for 2 hours already with dinner, but just couldn't stop now. So I need to find out where I stopped this recording. This is here, and see you next time.